Power ends quietly for some men. And for some others, it ends like this. Under the white lights of an airport, in front of strangers with cameras, with the sound of your own name echoing like a sentence. On arrival in the United States, Senator Benjamin was arrested by FBI agents. He was guided through the arrivals, in handcuffs, with Benjamin head lowered, as whispers ripple through the crowd. Meanwhile, back in Nigeria, it was breaking news in local TV stations across the country. His political enemies celebrated the arrest of the political beast. Senator Benjamin built an empire. He believed he was untouchable. But shadows have a way of catching the men who cast them. Meanwhile, 3 months earlier, in the golden sunlight of FCT Abuja, Senator Benjamin stood before his mansion in flowing Igbada, his wife by his side, SUVs in the driveway. In Abuja, power and influence have an address. Senator Benjamin's mansion was more than a home, it was a monument. Wealth, influence, a life built on deals sealed in back rooms and wire transfers made in the dead of night. To the world, he was the untouchable political gladiator. To his wife, he was a man playing with fire. However, his power and influence diminished on in America. When he landed in the United States, he carried more than luggage. He carried secrets, encrypted files, accounts layered through oil companies, promises made to men who no longer returned his calls. He walked like a statesman. He was already marked as a fugitive, for money laundering, tax evasion and other federal offenses. Four men in suits step forward, badges flashing. Benjamin freezes, his expression collapses. They didn't call his name. They didn't need to. He knew. The moment the badges glinted, in the fluorescent light, his kingdom began to crumble. The political gladiator, who once commanded a nation's ear, now stood in silence, as the walls of an airport became his prison. In handcuffs, Benjamin's head bows as officials lead him away into waiting FBI SUVs. For the cameras, it was a huge spectacle, a fall from grace to grass, as Nigerians would put. For Benjamin, it was betrayal. For him, it was the work of his enemies. Years of influence erased in a single click of steel. The mighty had fallen, and the world was watching. Social media on meltdown with pictures and videos of him being led away like a common criminal. In Y courtroom. Prosecutor spoke, his wife wept, as the judge presided. It was a humiliating spectacle. In court, they stripped away the title, the respect, the shield of his office. They named his crimes: laundering, tax evasion, fraud, corruption. The evidence was overwhelming. His defense drowned in paper trails and frozen accounts. When the gavel came down, it echoed across oceans. Then sentenced. In the shadows of his dimly lit cell, Benjamin sits hunched on a narrow bed, shadows of bars stretch long across the floor. Angry and outraged. He said to himself, they thought the story ended in that cell. A man broken, empire shattered, his name reduced to ash. But shadows don't end when the man is locked away. They linger. They spread. And Benjamin's shadow was just beginning to move. He continued. Power doesn't vanish when the man is gone. It lingers, like smoke after fire. Senator Benjamin's empire collapsed in handcuffs and gavel strikes. But the money, the secrets, the enemies he made, they didn't disappear. They scattered. They waited. And now, in the present, those shadows are moving again. Touching his political associates, friends, and families. Touching his wife. Touching everyone who thought they were free of him. The senator may be locked away. But his shadow? His shadow still walks.